February, the month for love, romance, and a manufactured holiday where big corporations tell you that you can only tell someone you love them on this specific day by buying a bunch of useless stuff that nobody needs, when really you could just celebrate your love for somebody all year round. But there is one good thing that comes from Valentine's Day, and that is that it makes a great backdrop for a horror movie. The juxtaposition of love against the scares and darker themes of a horror movie just works, and it's this complete contrast that can elevate a film to a very memorable status. Apparently nobody knew that than a Canadian film crew who in the 80s set out to make a slasher movie that has had a longer lifespan than probably anybody could have predicted. And that is the topic of today's episode. Is this a Valentine for me? Huh. Alright, let's check this out. Alright, so this says, violets are blue, roses are red. Don't talk about the movie or you'll get an axe to the head. Oh my god. Somebody has terrible handwriting. Look at that. This is just terrible penmanship. Anyway, the film we're going to talk about today is My Bloody Valentine. I'm Ryan Reed, and this is Fright Films. My Bloody Valentine is a 1981 slasher film directed by George Mihalka. It was made during the early days of the slasher craze, and the project was brought to the director in August of 1980. With no script and only a title attached, the film had to be out in February of 1981. So, with a modest budget of $2.3 million and distribution by Paramount Pictures, the little Canadian slasher film set off to be made at a breakneck speed. The plot is simple enough. It revolves around a group of 20-something-year-old miners who work in the small mining town of Valentine's Bluff. They're preparing for the first Valentine's Day dance in over 20 years. See, the big celebration has been avoided for all that time because of an explosion that happened in the mines due to the carelessness of two supervisors on their way to the dance, causing several miners to get trapped down below. After 6 weeks of an attempted rescue, only one man, Harry Warden, survived by cannibalizing the other miners he was trapped down there with. A year later, he came back and took his revenge by killing the two supervisors who were in charge of the situation to begin with. Now, in our present-day 80s setting, our group of partygoers are faced with the possibility that maybe Harry Warden has returned yet again. Overall, My Bloody Valentine does kind of hold true to most of the slasher movie plot points. However, it does have some differences that make it stand out. First of all, our main characters aren't teenagers. They're 20-year-olds, maybe even 30-year-olds who work in the mines. So their desire to have a party comes from the fact that they've worked hard and they want to take some time to relax. It makes a slight difference that really works for the film. The setting also stands out. Filmed in a real, recently shut down mine, My Bloody Valentine has a crazy amount of natural atmosphere. Gone are your typical summer camps and suburban streets. Instead, what this film provides is seemingly endless dark tunnels and low beams and machinery and intelligently lit areas that really give the film an interesting look. It also helps out that our antagonist, the miner, is an incredibly memorable slasher villain. Because of the mask and the gear he wears, he's very imposing. In fact, there's a great scene that tells us all we need to know about this character, where he's just walking down a tunnel and with his pickaxe, he's smashing the light bulbs as he goes. It's really, really effective and shows us how unstable and angry this guy really is. The film also has this quirkiness about it that I can't tell if it was intentional or not. It's almost like this dark humor that comes through because of the ridiculousness of some of the situations. There's a great example in one of the deaths. In the uncut version of the movie, a character is killed off screen. And later on, the chief of police comes to investigate, and it's at a laundromat. And he's looking around, and all of a sudden, one of the dryer doors opens, and the body has been cooked inside. And it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. And then the chief of police reacts in like this weird, bizarre, like over-the-top, disgusted face, like... But the body just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, and you get the idea. It's both parts creative in its execution and absolutely ludicrous in the logistics of the situation. Like, how long had the dryer been running? Why did the killer put the body in there in the first place? Did the dryer cost money? How many quarters did it take to keep that dryer running for as long as it must have been going? It makes no sense. But all this weird quirkiness does give My Bloody Valentine its own identity. Unfortunately, there are some things in the film that just don't work. The main subplot of the movie involves a love triangle between our three main characters. TJ, who is the son of the mine's owner, has recently come back from the West Coast. He couldn't quite make it out there, so he's back in Valentine's Bluff to work in his father's mine. However, when he gets back, he finds out that his ex-girlfriend Sarah is now dating another miner named Axel, and he feels like he has to confront him, and it's just poorly done. I mean, ultimately, the subplot does kind of work its way into the main plot, but it's just so badly executed that it doesn't work for me. Both the men in the situation are incredibly unlikable, and they've got this terrible machismo attitude that just makes them just jerks throughout the whole thing. And then when you do get romantic scenes between Axel or Sarah or TJ and Sarah, it's just super melodramatic. So ultimately, even though it does kind of factor in, it just doesn't come together. Another problem is the ending. The film tries to pull off a twist, but it just comes out of left field and it doesn't really work, and honestly, I think it's the main reason that My Bloody Valentine never got a sequel. But at least the film contains all kinds of inventive kills that a slasher movie fan can enjoy, with one caveat. See, originally when the film was released in the 80s, the MPAA destroyed the movie, asking them to cut out almost all the gore so they could receive an R rating. For years, the director spoke of an extended cut that had 8 to 9 minutes of additional footage, and Paramount said that this footage either didn't exist anymore or it never existed. But finally, when Lionsgate got the rights to release the home video version of it on DVD and Blu-ray in 2009, they found a print that had that uncut footage. So that's when we got this, the special edition of My Bloody Valentine, where you can either watch the theatrical cut or you can watch the extended cut with 3 minutes of gore cut back into the movie. This finally gave fans of the film what they wanted, the best version of the movie that they could enjoy. Now, this month, Scream Factory, the horror division of Shout Factory, is going to release a new collector's edition of My Bloody Valentine with an uncut version of the film restored from the film's negative. So gone are going to be the scratchy, grainy inserts from the Lionsgate Blu-ray, but instead what we're going to get is a new ultimate version of the movie. As of this recording, it's unclear if that's going to be the Lionsgate cut of the film or if Shout Factory, Scream Factory has a new version that truly does have 8 to 9 minutes. Only time will tell. But the good news is that horror fans can rejoice at the restoration of a cult classic. My Bloody Valentine was a moderate success at the box office, but its individuality in the slasher genre has kept it alive for all of this time. And the ideas were so creative that it sparked a 2009 remake that is arguably just as enjoyable as the original film. But we'll save that until next time. Until then, I'm Ryan Reed. Go watch a movie.